Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas with wonderful people. Good morning to the United States of America, a country full of well-deserved people. Good morning to the rest of the world. Good morning to every corner where Howard and Jack has managed to blow the 100,000 watt signal that emanates from KPFT throughout the United States and over the internet throughout the world. Good morning, everybody. Let's start this with great vibrancy. Howard, how you doing, brother?
Well, Howard's out working.
He's working. Oh,
yeah, I'm solo today.
You are solo. Well, you know what? It's a great thing that you're here today because we half missed you yesterday. Not fully missed you. We half missed you because we still got your word of wisdom over the telephone out of a parking lot in Walmart.
Yeah, birthdays are always fun.
Yeah, but what can I say? The having let me tell you something, Jack. At our age, you're having birthdays. We're happy. Once you're past 40 and continue to have birthdays, we should be happy.
Yeah, I am. I really am. It wasn't bad yesterday. It's just one of them things.
One of them things. Well, anyway, do you have a word of wisdom for us this morning?
Yeah. Ask yourself why are the Republican politicians, why they won't vote for anything that benefits the people. They vote against them almost 100% of the time. And on the other side of the political spectrum, why is Biden supporting an immoral war in Ukraine? I'm going to propose this, and because I think it's true, I propose this war is about weakening and bleeding Russia till their economy falls. Russia has a very long border with China.
Yes, they have a long border with China. And, I can't dispute what you were saying. It wouldn't be something that we haven't done before at all, Jack. So, I mean, one of the things that one has to do is kind of play chess and figure out what is it that's happening with us not knowing. And your hypothesis, I think, deserves some thought. I think we need to think about, hey, we've done stuff like this before. We think we're in a war for a reason, but we're there for something else. I don't know. When I used to take, when I was back in my school days, there's a course called differential equations. And the way you solve the problem is you go ahead and you guess at potential solutions to the problem based on your experience with knowing that formula, Jack. And if your guess is sort of in the ballpark, you're able to solve that equation. And so I'm with you. Throw all those things out there and see which one actually solves the equation. Anyway, anything else, Jack, from your wisdom chess?
Well, we just going to have to wait and see, and try to see ahead a little bit what they're driving at for sure.
There you go. But anyway, we got a great program for you today, folks. The title of the show today is Mary Lou Retton's Health Insurance Fiasco, a Trump sycophant and critic, Michelle Obama worries. So we have really it's 4 topics, maybe 5 topics. Won't necessarily get to all of them because I'm pretty sure we should be hearing a whole lot of calls. The telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I want to start this morning with Mary Lou Retton. Love Mary Lou Retton. Mary Lou Retton made us proud as Americans. She went out there and tumbled But that isn't I am one of those long suffering, believing kind of guys that, you go out there and give it your all, etc. And Mary Lou Retton always gave us her all as performative athlete. And I remember that time, her leg in trouble, her ankle in trouble, etc. And Mary Lou Retton, I think it was a vault that she did that great vault. Her ankle is either broken, strained, swollen, or whatever. And there she is. She came out like a star, and she did it. Our gold star came back to America, a queen, a winner, a gold medalist. And, I remember when I started to see the first time that she put out, or her kids put out, that it wasn't a GoFundMe, but it was something like a GoFundMe to raise money for her health care, because she got some sort of a pneumonia, whatever. And, the first thing for me was like, this woman was our star. This woman represented this country, right? It is like, I don't want to equate dying in the military or anything like that with a sports figure, right? But as a sports figure representing us in an Olympic, she was like one of our soldiers out there representing America. And she went out there, she performed, and to think that in the country of ours, she could get very, very, very ill, and that it could put her in dire straits and financially, etc., that this star of ours had to go on and decide to ask everybody around the country, please help me pay my medical bills. There was just something about that. And by the way, I don't know the full story in the aggregate. I don't know the entire story about what Mary Lou went through, but we all know Mary Lou's life. Mary Lou is one of those people who, for every speaking engagement she does, even now, she makes $25,000 or so for that. She makes $25,000 a speech. Mary Lou Retton lives here in Houston. Yes, she just got a divorce, but she lived in a $2 million home. And by the way, none of this that I'm saying here is to disparage about our healthcare system, because I think Mary Lou Retton is the embodiment of our lousy, thieving, thuggish healthcare system, that she had to do what she had to do. And there are many of us out here that are trying our level best so that Mary Lou Retton doesn't have to go through what she's going through, so that my family, who was just told that that a kidney biopsy cost, after having the kidney biopsy, with having not been told, came out and said that kidney biopsy cost $27,000. After and your story, for all of you that are listening to me right this minute, I guarantee you 10% of you have a story that when you open that bill from a hospital stay, from an emergency room stay, for a fast clinic, what you call these urgent care centers, and you open that bill and you see what it looked like, it's like, my God, why are we paying this in health insurance and health care? So that's an issue. But let me tell you what is another issue. Because there are two groups of folks in this country. There are those who can, afford the best of healthcare because of who they are, the amount of money they make, etc. And then there are policies within your state that if Mary Lou Retton was in California and not Texas, Mary Lou Retton would have gone into the hospital and her kids would never have had to go ahead and say, let me create a somewhat like GoFundMe to raise money to pay the bill, the insurance bill. Of course, from what's out there in the ethos, Mary Lou could have used her assets, maybe her $2 million home or whatever, to assuming that is correct, which it seems like it is based on the records, could have used collateralized loan on that $200,000 home to pay off her healthcare. That is something I don't think is right in any healthcare system. I think whether Mary Lou has $2 million or $10 billion, I think if all of us were paying into the general fund commensurate with the amount of monies that we make, meaning the more you make, the more you pay into the system, that everybody is entitled to United States paid health care. That's what I believe. That's what every humane, moral country does, right? Because the money is there. A large percentage of all our healthcare dollars ends up in the pockets of CEOs, shareholders, etc. All right? So what has it turned out to be with Mary Lou Retton? Mary Lou Retton, a star, went into the hospital, very, very sick. And we are happy that she's going to likely make a near full recovery from whatever type of pneumonia that she had. But here is a woman who spoke up against, from what reports are on in the media, against vaccines, against Obamacare, and did not have health insurance. Okay? She did not have health insurance. And her interview yesterday, she said she couldn't afford the health insurance. People, I don't mind Mary Lou, after not having health insurance, to ask for assistance to pay off a bill that is likely thieving and a terrible bill. That isn't the issue. But the issue is, as stated in the USA Today article, Mary Lou went on TV and made comments that at best are suspect. When asked, why is it? Remember, the wording out there is that she was anti-ACA, anti-Obamacare. Living in Texas, a lot of people in Texas sort of allowed the system to mislead them, to lie to them, to confuse them into thinking that somehow the ACA was a bad thing. So continuing, it turns out now, and yes, I see a call coming in, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I would love to have you call in and stay on this subject for a while. 713-526-5738, extension number 2, and we'll get you on air right away. So Mary Lou Retton goes out and, again, everything that I could read on was anti-vax, anti-Obamacare. And then she goes on national TV. And this is a part that sort of upsets me. She goes on to national TV, and the rationale behind her not having insurance is that because she's had 30 or so surgeries because of her being an athlete, a great performing athlete, because of other issues, she brought up the word pre-existing condition. The thing that Obamacare solved, America, And the reason I'm upset about this is that there are a lot of people out there who potentially would have health insurance that hear a star go on TV and say, I couldn't get insurance because I had pre-existing condition. And that used to be how it was in America. If you had a pre-existing condition, you couldn't get insurance. But now you can get Obamacare, American insurance, private insurance under the umbrella of Obamacare. Whether you have a pre-existing condition or not, you cannot be denied. That is the reality. That is the truth. And she goes on national TV on a chiclet type interview and says, because of my pre-existing conditions, my insurance would be too expensive. There are also limits to what you can be charged. And so an independent, the USA Today, goes out there and go to an insurance agent and finds out that in Texas, Mary Lou Retton could have gotten insurance for between $500 and $600 a month, but didn't. So we have a lot of people, because of their ideology, they make choices that others, given the same opportunity, would have done the right thing. A lot of people would have loved to be able to say, I can afford $500 for insurance, but I can't even afford that. And because Texas has chosen criminally or immorally, our Republican legislature, immorally, they have chosen to kill many Texans who simply can't afford not even $500 a month for insurance. And because we don't accept the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, our state has chosen not to take care of its own. But Mary Lou Retton, by choice, didn't. Her choice. And then the good nature, notice how I started the program earlier. I said the great people of the United States of America. Because we hear Mary Lou Retton's story, we feel the passion for her because of what she represented. She has notoriety. So she puts a GoFundMe-like type request out there, and it's filled. She gets $460,000. The good nature American people see America's former idol in trouble, and they want to help. But nowhere in that help is it remembered that having a person of her stature, of her notoriety, not actively support programs that help the indigent. Likely some of the people who supported her themselves couldn't afford insurance, but likely helped her. But she, not the same. This is an upsetting story again. I wish her well. I'm happy she's making a recovery. But what she did on that interview yesterday, by looking at Americans and saying you're stupid, the only reason that interview seemed to have been done is that the USA Today approached her after looking at the $460,000 and said, where is all this money being spent? In which you say, if there's anything left over, we are going to give it away. That's what they said. But no mention as to where all the money that was collected is going. I'm going to continue with the story, but let me jump to the phone. Let's go to Brother Joe first, and we'll continue.
Hey, good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I am doing fine, sir. Talk to me.
Good. Mary Lou's sad story. I'm glad that she was able to put out her feelers, and I'm glad something, like GoFundMe and others exist But I don't know. I'm old enough to remember when, for example, car insurance was not mandatory here in Texas, and that the promise was, look, if everyone participates in the car insurance program, prices will go down overall, right? And they pointed to the numbers, and it looked great on paper. Well, the legislature bought it. Oh, and by the way, your constant, incessant Republican bashing, really, I mean, it turns me off, dude. I wish you'd stop. I would listen to the show more. But,
Joe, let me, hold on, Joe. No, Joe.
Let me finish.
Joe, I always do that, sir. I always let you finish. Wait, but respect, please. Be civil. I always let you finish, but I just want to correct something before you get done. And the reason I stopped you is as you are making your commentary, I want you to specifically tell me, as you're making your commentary about me bashing Republicans, what statement did I make that was false? Continue, please, my friend.
You said you always say immoral, illegal Republicans, right?
I don't say illegal. I say immoral. But continue.
You said illegal a little while ago about the Texas state legislature. But anyway, they went ahead. They passed. They said, okay, now you are legally required to have car insurance, and we all look forward to those prices going down. But they never did. They went up. They doubled and they tripled. Right. And that left a really bad taste in my mouth for, then all of a sudden Obamacare comes along. It's the same exact song and dance. Look, everybody pays in, costs are going to go down. The fact is nobody from me, a middle-class American, or you go off of Scott Street into the third ward and ask anybody, do you like Obamacare? Do you like being required to buy something, and the answer is no. Right? I don't like kicking into a slush fund is basically what it is. And even if you do buy one of their approved programs, you don't get anything. People feel like you don't get anything back for it. Right? It gives you benefit. And sometimes people they feel that they're better off with no insurance.
And Joe, let me stop you, please, and let me tell you why. Because it's a show, and we got a certain amount of time. But I do want you to stick with me. I don't want you to hang up the phone. I do want to have the conversation, because I need people like you to call in to the show. First of all, it's wrong for you to say because I bashed Republicans. Like I said, I want you to tell me one statement of fact that I made that was incorrect, and I will apologize to you right now.
Here's how I picture you and the other talk show guy that comes on in the morning. You guys wake up, you put on your bathrobe, you go in the kitchen, right, and you make your cup of coffee, and you're sleepy eyed. You go over to the fax machine and you tear off this piece of paper, and there's all your bullets you need to cover.
Okay.
J6, election deniers, Republican this, Republican. These are all Democrat talking points.
Joe,
that you guys.
Joe, I respect you, Joe. Joe, please stop, Joe. Joe, please stop. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I'm honestly, I am trying to have a conversation with you. And my question to you again, that what I heard from you sounded like the talking point attack that people make on Democrats. So you and I, mano a mano, Brother Joe, Brother Egberto. When I get up in the mornings, what I do all day is believe in not only you, but everybody else, and what things would be better for you and me. Okay, I'm not lying to you. I don't get talking points. I get none of that. I live my life experiences with healthcare. I live my life experiences with all these other issues. I asked you a question, and I'm serious about the question, because your first thing is that I attack Republicans. I attack Republicans who attack you. You mentioned about insurance rates going up. I agree with you. And the question, what we may disagree with is why. And I'm telling you, it's Republican and neoliberal. And neoliberal isn't Republican. Neoliberal is standard Democrats as well. I wish people would listen to my show in the stance of, I am not here to defend Democrats. I am not here to defend Republicans. I'm here to defend you. I honestly, brother,
You said Democrats and Republicans.
Brother, if you listen, you say you listen to my show. I'm a progressive. I'm a progressive who caucus with Democrats because it's the only place progressives can be. But the policies that I believe in is the policies to make your life better. You just meant you gave off a litany of things, and the solutions that progressives have for the litany of things that you gave off are the things that I support. So what I'm saying is, let's not have a false argument or a false you don't like me, I don't like you. Actually, I do like you. Okay, so what I'm saying is, let's get the conversation to a real level, point for point for point. You said, you talk about insurance, about an Obamacare. Obamacare failed or not. Obamacare is not as good as it could be because of neoliberals and Republicans. Insurance are the ways that you talk about because of neoliberals and Republicans not thinking about your. Yes,
you kept the word Democrat out your mouth right there.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you.
Washington D.C. creatures, right? Entrenched Washington D.C. powers.
Do you prefer that I use that word? Would you prefer me to use that word? Would it be more effective for you?
I would rather you say the political establishment.
Okay, but here's the problem. The reason, and let me explain. The political establishment includes the AOCs. It includes all the folks that are good and bad. Here's the problem. Every single Republican votes a certain way. Every single Democrat does not. In other words, and that's the reason why I actually specify Republicans and neoliberals. Neoliberals are that group of Democrats that I might as well call them. Well, I won't go there. But what I'm trying to tell you, Joe, is a fallen. And I want you to hear this well.
Tonight. Tonight.
I don't mind. I am not a Clinton fan at all, because Clinton invented this stuff called triangulation. Okay? And what happens with triangulation is it leaves out you and me. Because but Joe, the phones are filling up, but I want to tell you this. I want you to continue listening. If you have specific things you want to tell me, you can also write me directly. But don't let a false argument fool you. We are on the same team, whether you like it or not. That's just how it is. Okay? And the same things you want for your family, I want for my family. So I'm not going to allow these people to create false arguments, allow you and I to be fighting as they take their money to the bank, because that's what goes on now. That's why I picked up this Mary Lou Retton story as well. So you please continue calling in, and don't stop listening to the damn thing. Let's go ahead and talk it out. All right.
Okay, listen, one thing but the thing is you're embedded yourself with the Democrat Party. You're going to give in with Democrats, right?
No, wait,
That's
stop.
Problem.
I hope you're listening I wish you had listened to what I said. It is important for you to listen to what I'm saying, brother. I said, I'm a progressive who caucuses with Democrats. It's the only place in a duopoly where a progressive can exist. You have to exist in one of the others. We talk about third parties, etc. It's not a viable solution, in my opinion, right now. Okay? So hear what I'm saying. Jump on my team.
Why don't you? There's a third team emerging right now. It's the MAGA Nation, man.
No, the MAGA Nation. Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you and I can't stick with you anymore. But on MAGA Nation, let's do that another day. Because don't you dare associate yourself and call yourself MAGA Nation, because you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble deep inside yourself. But we'll talk about that another day, okay?
Hey, listen, I wear a MAGA hat everywhere I go, and I get more positive reinforcement by wearing this hat around town than anything else, right?
Well,
I get up and attaboys and great hats.
well, we are gonna have to do something about that, Joe. We are gonna have to do something about that, but we'll talk another time, brother.
All right. Have a great morning, man. We'll see you, Egberto.
You take care, brother. All right, let's go to brother Johnny.
Hey, are you with me?
I'm with you, brother.
Okay. Putting aside Joe's obvious contentiousness and visceral hatred he has for libs, Dems, progressives, and whatnot, putting that all aside, let's get to his chief complaint. His chief complaint is my chief complaint. That is, we both are against mandatory insurance purchase from private industry, whether it's health insurance or whether it's automobile insurance. That's the problem. Whenever you have these public-private partnerships, guess what? The public gets screwed. So,
Right.
Joe, if you're listening, make no mistake. We are on the same side. We are fighting for you. When we advocate for universal health care, we're not just advocating for me and for Egberto. We're advocating everybody. My Republican next door neighbors benefit from that. And we all pay into it at a rate that's not confiscatory. That's why? Because when we adopt that system, there's no profit motive involved. We're not paying for CEO salaries and golden parachutes and expensive office furniture and advertising. All that goes away. And then, guess what? If you get hurt in a car wreck or if you or your kid comes down with a metabolic illness, guess what? You go to the hospital, you prove who you are, and you get the help you need, and you don't have to worry about a bake sales or do what Mary Lou Retton did. And by the way, she's an arch conservative, Joe, and her criticisms are based on your same faulty ideologies. Get over it, buddy. We're in trouble and we need to work together.
You know, it's interesting because Joe said something that, believe it or not, is of more concern than anything, because he's not a Republican. Joe is not a Republican. He is a MAGA who caucus with Republican. I say I'm a progressive who caucus with Democrats. But we have to understand what there was when Bernie Sanders was running. I remember distinctly that a lot of Bernie Sanders went Trump, and that transition had nothing to do with racism, right? It had to do with screw this damn system, right? And that is where, if you read between the lines with Joe, if you notice, Joe didn't hate me. Joe didn't, after Joe realized that it wasn't me just slamming Republicans, and Joe is on the team. He just has to make that fight to realize, wait a minute, like Johnny just said, we can't on the same team. But the way they frame it, Johnny, the way the plutocracy has framed it, they keep people at each other's throats with false arguments. And that is what we got to break through. And that is what we will break through.
Before I hang up, to clarify something for Joe, when Egberto and I criticize Republicans, quote unquote, we're not criticizing you or your Republican neighbors or my Republican neighbors. We're talking about Republican Party politicians, specifically those in Washington, D.C. right now. That's where our IRA is focused at, not you as a private citizen who may vote for them. That's another issue we got to discuss.
Thank you, Johnny, as usual. Good word. And let's go to Donald. You have a great one, Mayor of Politics Done Right. Let's go to Donald.
Hey, good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, brother Donald. How are you doing?
I'm just ready to bust out in a kumbaya, my lord, around the campfire here, because it seems like you've energized people in the right way, as always.
Well, that's what we do, man. That's what we do. And it's not me energize. We energize. We are I call us the PDR posse. That's what we are, brother.
Okay, I want to ask on a word. What's the difference between woke and common sense?
Between what again?
I don't woke and common sense, because it seems like it's just common sense to me.
Woke is common sense, and that's why you see that's the reason here.
Exactly, those are the words to start using. Okay, okay.
Donald, hear this, Donald. The reason why you have to destroy the word woke is because you want people to believe that if they become woke, something is wrong with them, right? Because once they become woke, they are awakened. Their common sense is out there. They learn the things that they didn't before. It is funny. Republicans have always been good. Republican ideology has always been good. It was written in the Powell memo, the Powell manifesto, that this is what had to be done. We had to make people think less. We had to, because and they said it in the memo. You got to infiltrate the media. You have to infiltrate the schools. You have to infiltrate the churches. All of that is written. But I digress. I need to go to Augie. Anything else, Donald?
Oh no, I'm glad to see other people are paying their car insurance. It just went up 20%, and you're making almost the damn same car payment to the insurance as you're making for your car payment. So
it's funny. I know, sad, right?
We need to drain the swamp, maybe with somebody else, I guess, because you don't like that. But the swamp needs to be drained, and we need to vote those what? I'm going to let Jack do it.
Thank you, brother.
Go ahead, Jack.
Those rats. Yes.
All right, thank you, Donald. Let's go to Augie. Come on in, brother. Augie, come on in. How you doing, Augie?
Good morning. Listening to what's going on, like about insurance, the Democrats don't really have much to do with that. They did make a lot of great programs like Social Security. It would have been even better, but they had a compromise. They had a compromise on everything. They had a compromise on the Affordable Care Act. And the Affordable Care Act did help a lot of people, even Republicans. I know some personally, when they had a teenage daughter who wasn't able to be under their parents' health insurance anymore because she was older than 21. But with the Affordable Care Act, they extended the age to 26. And she was able to have 2 operations that she needed because of that. And her mother, who was I guess she would have been like a MAGA supporter. She saw the light with the Affordable Care Act. When her mother asked her about that, hey, did you see, because she voted for Obama the second time. And her mother asked her, did you vote for Trump? Well, all she replied was, I saw the light. And Texas used to be hardcore Democrat, and the South did too. But why did some Republican? In the 60s, JFK and LBJ wanted integration and desegregation, and they voted for it. LBJ told JFK, we've lost the South. And that's what happened. And
it is sad.
Yeah. So I know a lot of conservatives here that used to be Democrats, but one of them says, I don't remember. I asked him, did you vote for Democrats ever? Because he was an adult in the 50s and 60s, and he said, I forget. Well, he didn't forget. He just didn't want to say he voted Democrat. That's all.
Yeah, but, that is what the system does. The thing about it is you make people ashamed of doing certain things, and then they don't do what's in their best interest. It's like we make a liberal a bad word, we make progressive a bad word, we make woke a bad word, we make Democrats a bad word. And then people are fearful of being that because they don't, after you've made all those things bad, you don't want to be bad. And look, I had a woman, when I did my program on the Coffee Party Network, a staunch Republican conservative woman called me to really destroy Obamacare. And after she was telling her story about her son, I really felt for her, and then I explained to her, by the way, ma'am, your son actually can get insurance under the new Obamacare system because he couldn't get insurance before, pre-existing, all that good stuff. And I asked her, look, I begged her to email me or something like that, and she did. I gave her the information. Her kid got insurance. She called in. She apologized. It was like, I didn't know that, why didn't they tell us that? I said, we've been trying to tell you that, but there are people who don't have your best interests at hand, and they will have you believing that X, Y, and Z is wrong. Look at what Mary Lou Retton went on TV and did yesterday. She said she couldn't get insurance. It would be too high because she had pre-existing conditions. Think about how many people who already have a bad taste for Obamacare, not knowing what it stands for. Look, I'm not an Obamacare fan, but it's the best we got. But, look at what that person who would have qualified would think. Now, if Mary Lou can't get Obamacare, damn, I definitely can't either. And that is the upsetting part that I saw in the whole thing, that she would have qualified for a very economical healthcare package, even with her pre-existing condition. So anything, Augie, before I jump to Gonzalo?
Well, I remember when you first started your program here and Obama was running for president, and you had a couple come on who was strongly anti-Obama, and they were laughing and joking, a man and her husband, and then you let them have their say, and then you had your say, and you joked around with them. But when it was all over, at the end of the show, you still were laughing, and so were they, and you got along. But you both had your say, the hardcore Republicans and you. And so when people say the Republicans talk about woke, they didn't even know what woke is. And then they won't say what woke is. And not to I tell some Republicans, okay, what's woke? And they don't know. I tell what is. It means you're awake, you're aware, you have common sense, you know what's going on. And that's what the Republicans don't want people to know. They don't want the people to know know what's going on. They don't want them to be awake. They don't want them to be woke. They don't want to learn about CRT.
Augie, that's why I said there is. Augie, that's why I tell you, there is no Republican that is my enemy. I'm talking people here. The politicians I'm going after, but most of my neighbors are Republican. All right. And I love my neighbors. I love my peeps. And I don't say that superficially. I mean that. Right. Your political ideology doesn't make you my enemy at all. Now, I'm going to try my best to continue talking, and I will continue talk. There's nothing that you're going to tell me that's going to stop me from trying to tell the truth and make the lives of both you and me better. But I'm not going to let external forces put me against you. I'm not going to let external forces take away my humanity. And that is what we have done in this country. And that's what I hope to be partially responsible in eradicating. Anything else, Augie? I got to jump to Gonzalo.
Well, to be MAGA, what does it mean to be MAGA? It means to be, if you're with Donald Trump, it means you're with the fascists here in America. It means you're with the KKK. It means you're with the communists. All the communist leaders like Trump. So if you like Trump, you're hanging in with those communists. You're hanging in with the fascists.
I hear you, Augie. Thank you, Augie. I got to jump to Gonzalo. He's been on waiting for a little bit. Thank you, my brother.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Have a good one. Gonzalo, ¿cómo está mi hermano cubano? ¿Cómo va todo?
Hey, good morning, Alberto.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
First of all, I think that we need to have more people like Joe who add a different perspective, a different opinion to the show. I think that makes the show spicy. That makes the show more interesting because we all are in the same country. We live in a democratic society in which everybody has a different opinion and everybody needs to make their point. I think that is great, and that is a good opportunity for Joe and all the people who listen to the show to express their ideas, even if they are a little bit different than others. But we need to educate people. I think that's your job and also my job in the school I work. And there are two different concepts that need to be revised. One, what a public servant is and what corporate greed means. I think those are the two concepts that has to do with the two topics that we were talking about. automobile insurance and health insurance. I think if one is mandatory, why the other one shouldn't? And despite all the critics of Obamacare, I think that was a great effort to make it mandatory, hoping that everybody will understand what the difference between property, which is a car, and a human being is. And I think our health, which is our nature of existence, should prevail. And I don't think the concept was really understood by the population because of a corporate greed make that talking. And I have different friends who have a different opinion. Oh, but why should I need that insurance? We live in a free country and we need to have a free decision whether we want to be insured or not. So all in all, that's all what I want to say.
Gonzalo, as usual, always have great words. Thank you so kindly for calling in. And I want to, before you leave, I want to thank you for stating that, because I need to state that more often. And that is, I want everybody to be a member of the posse. We have a 3:00 show as well. And our 3:00 show is probably 60-40, 70-30, somewhere around there, meaning progressive versus conservatives, and everybody participate. Everybody participate. We go ahead and we have vibrant discussions in there. So I'm glad for you reiterating that and making sure that I let our audience online here. Not online, because we already have that mixture of the audience online, but the people listening on air or through the tubes on this 6:00 session, I want to hear from everybody. And if you notice with Joe, I respect everybody. And not only that, I like everybody, because I understand that I'm not going to let the system break us up. Thank you very much for the call, Gonzalo.
All
right, let's go to Joni. Come on in, Joni.
So, just wanted to make a comment about the health insurance. I've had my own bout with it. Had double hip replacement surgery 2 years ago, and I'm still there's the.
Joni, I can't hear you. Wait, Joe. Okay, hello? Joni, I'm sorry. We accidentally got you off here. You're back on here. Go ahead. You had to. You're still struggling with your insurance. Go ahead.
Yeah, Houston Anesthesia Partners is still trying to bill me for surgeries I had 3 years ago. So I understand about, we need a different healthcare system. And I'm a huge fan of Obama, voted for him twice. One thing I do not agree with, however, I was with Dennis Kucinich on single payer, as we should do. But I don't believe that we should ever be forced to pay into a system that is run by corporations. That's setting us up to be taken advantage of.
First of all, Joni, I don't think you will find a progressive who likes the portion of Obamacare that in effect is forcing you to get private insurance. Yes, you get a choice of insurance, but that is like saying, which choice of slave master would you like to have? Would you like slave master number 1, slave master number 2, slave master number 3? That's what a private entity is, right? Because again, you have no control. You just decide which slave master you want. If we get a single payer where all our money is going to a pot, I don't like when people call it free healthcare, Joni. Nobody is asking for anything for free. I want to pay my way. But we pay our way commensurate with the amount of money that we make. If you make $1 billion, you pay a percentage of that your money. Just like if I make $10, we have to get to a place where we have some sort of an equity, not equal outcomes, but equal access to success. We need that. Anything else, Joni, before we go?
Because people don't get rich in a vacuum. They get rich by, being taught, by having food provided to them, by having a certain set of gifts, a certain set of abilities. And with also, at this day and age, it seems like a mercenary, business system that, has planned obsolescence as part of its business plan.
Oh, wow.
whatever it takes.
You are so smart. You are so smart.
I don't know about that, but I can look and see some things. I guess I'm woke.
But here's the important thing that you just said, Joni. When you talk about things like planned obsolescence, which is so true, right? We make a lot of things that don't really change, but we plan its obsolescence so that the market can keep rolling, right? I mean, but it's not only that, right? If you take a look at many other issues around corporations, right? Hey, they are always running from taxes, but all the trucks that they have and the stuff that they spew in the air and our rivers, they do so more than all of us, and then complain about having to pay more taxes to mitigate all the mess that they create. You nailed it. And I wish more Americans would see it. I wish more Americans would see it.
Have a good morning, Egberto. I appreciate you.
You too. Take care, Joni. Let's see what else we got here. We have another call coming in. As soon as Jack puts that up, I'll put it there. But I think, Brian, let's go to brother Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Okay. Looks like Colorado and Maine decided to forego any legal aspect and try to take Trump off the ballot.
Okay.
It's going to go to the Supreme Court, and it's going to get in Trump's favor due to due process of law. And then the left wing is going to scream up and down that, look, it's the Supreme Court's fault. That's all there is.
It is.
Okay, let me go ahead and answer that, Brian, and thank you for bringing that up, right? I would like to see, look, Trump has been beaten every time that he's run. He lost by 3 million votes the first time, 7 million votes the last time. I think he's going to likely lose by more if Biden and company gets their act together. If they go out there and really point out the differences between the false economy that Trump is saying existed under his administration, even pre-pandemic, never existed. But I do the numbers. It never been there, but that's fine. I think that he will lose by a large amount as well. But here's the thing that gets me, Brian, right? If you read the letter of the law of the Constitution, right? Donald Trump, every state, if they want to, should be able, and not if they want to, constitutionally, I think he needs to be removed from the ballot. But if the Supreme Court comes back and say, no, you're not going to hear me complaining, because I want to see him get beat the way he should by the population of the United States. But from a legal standpoint, from a constitutional standpoint, read the Constitution. It didn't say convicted of insurrection. It said if you participated in an insurrection. The court in Colorado ruled that it was an insurrection. The court, Maine, got word that in fact January 6th was an insurrection, and under their laws, what they did was correct. Anyway, Brian, finish up before I run out of here.
No, he was not convicted.
No.
I didn't say he was convicted at all. I didn't say he was convicted of insurrection at all. That's not what the Constitution requires.
Okay. How about the 25th Amendment?
They didn't use the 25th Amendment. They could have used the 25th Amendment back when he was in office, but that can't be used, right?
Can I use it now against Biden?
Sure. I mean, you yourself can't use it, but go ahead.
I can call Ted Cruz, and he can bring it up, right?
Yeah, but sure, you can try. The thing about it is this, Brian. We had an insurrection where people died, where the Capitol got ransacked, etc. It's hard for me to figure out what you're going to have on Biden just because you don't like him or just for revenge, and that's all. I mean, that's what a lot of people want to do. If you
don't like
go
him,
ahead.
so yeah, the same with Trump. If you don't like him, you keep him off the ballot, right?
Oh, no, no, no. I explained. Read the Constitution. That's all I'm saying. Read the Constitution. It's not that we don't like. Look, I personally don't like Trump because I don't think Trump likes you. Okay? I don't like Trump because I don't think Trump's like you or anybody else. I think Trump likes himself, and I don't think he does well by the country. That's the reason I genuinely dislike him. And I don't dislike a lot of people, but I abhor him. I dislike him. I think he is evil incarnate. But again, some of you haven't yet seen that, and that's fine. Anything else, Brian, before we get out of here?
No, thanks. Bye.
Thank you, brother. You have a great day. Hey, Jack, I love my Brians, my Joes, and my Gonzales, and everybody that calls in here, because as Gonzalo said, that is how, if you're speaking to the choir, it's not a good thing. If you're speaking to the choir and the orchestra and everything else, that is what we want. Jack?
You were talking to me.
Oh, I was talking to you, Jack. Come on, Jack. We only have like 30 or 40 seconds here, and I wanted to get your piece in before we got out of here.
Oh, okay. Well, Joe, who was behind the change in the insurance? There was also a no-fault option, but mandatory coverage allows for more litigation. Mm-hmm. And woke is a past tense word.
Yeah, we don't want to be just woke. We want to be awake.
Yeah, it's really crazy, because the same things that the Democrats say about the Republicans say about the Democrats. They hold us on the same issues sometime. And, we can't see that, America is about to go through a change if we don't wake up.
Yeah.
The influence of the Powell memo has over them.
Like, hey, look, we're time is up, Jack, but let me just tell everybody here, we're on the same team. Whether you like it or not, we're on the same team. So we need to just start loving on each other. Anyway, thank you, Jack, for all the great work that you do. Thank you, audience, for your calls. Love you all. I say that from the depths of my heart. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know I hand this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.